mind, by the way, so again, it was kind of just a little step, but it was a step forward, and so I registered there, and actually the first guy I sort of seriously was talking to was an American. I almost ended up in America, but not quite. Almost got married. But, that guy was also had quite a few issues, even though they were not related to eyesight. So I think that's why he was a bit more open-minded about my disability. But it didn't work out. He also had a child from his previous marriage, and the child was quite a difficult one. So his boy was just way too much for us to handle. And he gave up. It broke my heart, I have to say. And I was quite devastated. But because I had a great job, at the hotel, I was sort of pushed along by good feedback from my clients. By the way, one year I became the employee of the year of the entire hotel, and it was quite inspiring for me. And so now my second serious relationship on the dating website actually brought me to Australia. So I met an Aussie doctor, Anthony. He's 18 years older than me. It's a whole story in its own. But I can give you just like you said, in a nutshell.
You can tell as much of the story as you want.
All right. What's the age of your listeners?
This content, by the way, is marked as explicit, so children do not have access to this material.
I'm just joking, by the way. If someone started, getting really alert, I'm sorry to disappoint you. Not too much of details I'm going to give you, but I will give some. Well, anyway, so my current husband, by the way, we have just celebrated our 7th marriage anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much. He, for the very first date, had to cross the entire world to see me. I could have been a scammer. I could have been whatever, really, because on the internet, even if you talk, even if you have a video chat, whatever, it's still, it could be faked, whatever, you do. And actually working in the hotel, I've seen so many guys that were fooled, and they would tell me all those horrible stories when they came to massage, how they came to visit a lady, and it all turned out to be a big, big scam. So I actually, applaud my husband for his courage, because it's a big time and money investment to fly all the way from Australia to Ukraine. By the way, if you look on the map, it's those 2 points are as far as you can go. Like, you can't go any further across the world. So I, of course, dolled myself up, all the professional makeup. Luckily in Ukraine, it doesn't cost as much, I think I spent like $100, and I've done everything in the beauty salon: makeup, hair, nails, everything. But the salaries are pretty low as well. So I guess for me, it was quite a big investment as well, in a sense. So I meet him at the airport, and from the very first, I would love to say from the first sight, it was love from the first sight, but for me it was more of the love from the first word, from the first touch. We knew from the beginning it was serious. It was going to lead to a marriage, and it did, and a very happy marriage. So we have a 3-year-old son, 3.5-year-old son, a handful. and my boy from the first marriage, of course, came along with me. And he calls Anthony father, even though he still has relationship with his Ukrainian dad, but he definitely loves his Australian dad very much. And he's 14 now. So at the age of 34, I'm not ashamed just yet um, to tell my age. So I have a 14-year-old boy and a 3.5-year-old boy. And at the moment, I'm mainly a stay-at-home parent, but I have several projects. I'm at the moment working on looking for a literary agent. I have written a children's book. I have already illustrated it. Well, not myself, of course. I commissioned an illustrator to illustrate the book for me. So wish me luck with that. I really hope to publish my book, and more, of course, will come.
You
And
and
sorry?
Sure, sure. Wonderful, Olga. Wonderful. By the way, so many of my guests on Aaron's Opinion are working on books. You know, you are
Oh,
if you're writing a book, if you are wanting to read it, if you want to talk about it, if you want to when you come back for another episode, which I certainly hope you would do, I really hope that you would talk just about your experience publishing a book, you know, read a little bit of it and really promote it, because that's podcasting is a great way to promote an audiobook or to promote a book. You can turn it into like a podcast just for that book, and that would be
of
really
course. It's a children's book. It's,
that's yeah, that's true. I mean, you could, you know, maybe yeah, actually maybe for this audience, maybe not, but then again, probably wouldn't hurt in the future if that's something you would want to do in the future, because you know parents might be listening to this show who might have children. I mean,
of
it's
course.
I don't really know, but I hope you would take me up on that in the future, because really so many
I
of my
probably
guests
need to
are
publish it first, so I have a story to
yeah.
tell. I have a journey to tell about.
Well, that's so good, Olga. So good. Yeah, a lot of people are working on books and they just don't know who to turn to, and I tell them
Mm.
just come talk to me about it, because that will immensely help you. Yeah. So yes, and please continue. Yeah.
Yes, so that's my one creative project, and actually, I have a huge dream attached to that book. That is with the money that I hope to get from publishing that book. I want to make a difference for children in third world countries by building playgrounds themed as my book, because my book is about a dinosaur called Green Green. So themed playgrounds for kids, maybe in Africa. I have always had a soft spot, particularly for Africa. Yeah, so I'm investigating that side of this project as well right now. And of course, my big baby is my YouTube channel. In fact, I have two, but the one that is relevant is the English one. The other one is in Russian, but it's pretty much a twin, just in Russian. And the one in English is called Born Blind to Inspire. And yeah, I'm happy to talk a bit more about
And I
that
think and
project.
after I say a couple things, after we have a little commercial,
Yeah, yeah.
I think that would be very, very good. Hey, by the way, guys, I was so ready to go tonight for this episode. I forgot to mention, just so you know, Olga, and you at home all over the world, Aaron's Opinion can be found anywhere you get a podcast, whether that's Apple, you know, Spreaker, Spotify, Google, you know, anywhere you want to listen to us, we're basically there. Also on Twitter, also on Facebook, also on YouTube, also on Patreon. I mean, you've said a lot of, you know, really, really true and really, really fascinating things. As I have, well, I don't know if I've told you, but I mean, I've never been to Russia. I've never been to the Ukraine. I do speak French, so I've been to France 3 times.
Hmm.
And I've studied abroad in England, been to Germany, been to Amsterdam. I love it. Amsterdam is just a wonderful city for blind people. So good to get around there. Amsterdam, Austria, um, Poland, Czech Republic. And I've noticed that I have concluded two things. I think that, and this is only my opinion. I think that in other countries, especially France and England, I think that the community there is a lot kinder to blind people and people with disabilities than the community in the United States. However, I have also noticed that the opportunities for people in those countries who happen to be blind are far, far less frequent.
Definitely.
So I mean it's hard to say which one would I prefer. Well, in a perfect world, I mean I would in my perfect imaginary world, I guess, I would rather I guess be a French guy because I speak French, a French guy with opportunities. But you can't really have it both ways. I'm American. My parents,
Definitely.
yeah, yeah.
Well, in
It,
Australia, we have recently, uh,
you are so blessed and so fortunate to be living in Australia. Such a wonderful place.
definitely, but recently, people with disabilities have been blessed by the government with an incredible program, which I don't know whether it has anything like that anywhere in the world, including America. It's called National Disability Insurance Scheme.
Hmm.
Have you heard about it?
Yeah, yeah. Most countries have some sort of a
Oh
program where
no, trust me, I have friends in America. I've talked about it and they're quite fascinated what you get. So you sit down with a representative from that program and you identify goals for the year and ways you want to achieve them, and you get incredible funding for that, no matter sort of how active you live, whether you're a student or work or you stay at home. So like last year, I got 44,000 toward achieving my goals, and I'm very much flexible how I want to spend them. So I was able to purchase, for example, Braille Note Touch with the money, JAWS, Victor Reader Stream. I get regularly someone to come and assist me with taking my kids to sports, or, for example, the zoo and stuff like that. It's just such a wonderful program. There is nothing even close like that in Ukraine or Russia or
no,
countries
no,
like
definitely,
that.
nor in France, nor in England. Well,
Yeah.
I don't know about England, but definitely not in France. They don't have things like that in most countries, right? Hmm.
Yes. And sorry, would you like me to talk about the my YouTube channel, or is there something else you're interested
No,
in?
no, no, no. We'll get to we're coming up on the. I just I don't like it when guests or no guest should have to start a story only for me to say we'll be right back. So yeah, let's just keep on going for about another minute and a half. We're doing fine. Yeah, I mean in the States, I mean we have like the government gives money to people with disabilities. But everybody gets a slightly different amount, and of course, there's a lot of complaints and a lot of issues with that, with people either taking too much, not enough, not reporting
Yeah.
properly. It's a major, it's always a major, major, major issue in the states. This
Yes.
year, in light of the events of the health issues this year, we've of course received money from our government, but it does not make the situation any easier. The
Well,
only
for me,
thing.
it made a huge difference in terms
Hmm.
of like Braille Note Touch.
Right.
It's a very expensive device because I've always been a computer user. I never thought to buy a device like that with my own money, even though I could afford it, but I just thought it was unnecessary. Whereas when the government bought it for me, I discovered how awesome it is.
Hmm.
Certain things like that.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure, sure, sure. So by the way, my name's Aaron Richmond. She's Olga Mahler. She's from Australia, and this is Aaron's opinion. All right. As we like to say, you're doing a great job. And we will take a little timeout right about